Hello and welcome to this webinar on A Christmas Carol. Today we're looking at the female characters in quotations. Our aims are to understand what the quotations reveal about character, to link these quotations with key themes, and to analyse them using subject terminology. Now, the first most important female character is the character of Fan, which is Ebenezer Scrooge's younger sister. Now, this character is very important because she is a symbol. She is a symbol of restoration and reconciliation. She says, I have come to bring you home, dear brother, home, home, home. The triplet repetition here, well, is emphatic. It's showing that he has been restored. Instead of being isolated, he's now part of the family. Instead of being at school, he's able to be with his family. So she has come to bring his home. She's an instrument of reconciliation, and she restores the relationship between the father and the son. She says, he spoke so gently to me one night when I was going to bed that I was not afraid to ask him once more if you might come home. And he said yes. She's speaking about their father. Now, this adverb gently gives us a sense that he's not a gentleman. This was a rare occasion that he was calm and sane enough for her to reason with him, to persuade him and talk. She said, I was not afraid to ask, which means that most of her life, and probably for Scrooge's when he was at home, they lived in fear of their father. And she said to ask him once more, which means, again, this adverbial phrase that she has been requesting and petitioning the father to bring the son home away from boarding school and his isolation. And he said yes. So she's a powerful woman. She's been able to convince this terrifying father that he should be restored and reconciled to his son. And Scrooge's response, even as a young man, says, you are quite a woman, little Fan. He's impressed by her courage, her bravery, her determination, her persistence to be this bridge between father and son. The second character who's very important as a female is Belle. Now, Belle really symbolizes this contrast, this conflict between the material, stuff and things that you own, and the spiritual, this attitude, things that you feel. She says to Scrooge when they are dating and in fact engaged, another idol has displaced me, a golden one. As his fiancée, she's very aware that he's chasing after money, after becoming rich. His priority, his idol has become, and the focus of his life has become wealth. Now, the use of that noun idol is that sense of worship and devotion. Instead of the passion that he felt for her at one point, it's been replaced or displaced, this verb, with his obsession of money, his greed, and his materialism. And she says, I have seen your nobler aspirations fall off until the master passion, gain, engrosses you. So nobler, that comparative adjective shows that there has been a change. At one point, he was a spiritual person interested in greater goods and value, and now he's become a materialistic person who's only interested in the present and things that he can touch and feel. Now, this rejection of Belle, who actually had been rejected by Ebenezer, is really key, because we can see that he's chosen a path that he pursues, that instead of getting him onto family life and belonging and recognition as a husband, he goes off and he has isolation and recognition only as an employer. And when he looks at her in the years that come after that, she's now a comely maiden sitting opposite her daughter. This word, this adjective comely, could be positive and negative. It shows that she's gained weight, but it also means that she's at home. She's found her support network in the household, and having a daughter is that idea that she's been able to duplicate that warmth and that spiritual side. And this haunts him so much that he says, no more, no more, show me no more. The rejection is too intense. The final female character that is important for this, or they come in a pair really, are the laundress and the cleaner or the housekeeper. They rob Scrooge when he's dead. And They even confess who's the worse for the loss of a few things like these. Not a dead man, I suppose. They're happy to justify their theft, even though it's the base of criminality to steal something from a dead man. They say he'd have had somebody to look after him when he was struck by death, instead of lying gasping out his last there on his own. So they're mocking him, and the adjective alone really reinforces why they can take advantage of him, because they symbolize that greed and avarice we thought couldn't get worse when we saw Scrooge, but it did when we meet the washerwoman and the housekeeper. And then they said he frightened everyone away when he was alive, to profit us when he was dead. Look at the juxtaposition of alive and dead. He's frightening when he's alive, but in death he has no power. Ha ha ha. And they boast in their triumph. So these women show the worst of humanity, because their greed and avarice drive them to rob a dead man and to rejoice in their theft. So three very different female characters that represent three very different ideas. You've got Fan for courage, to restore and reconcile. We've got Belle, who chooses spiritual over material, and we've got the washerwoman and the housekeeper, who represent greed and avarice. I hope this has helped you understand these characters more. Thank you for joining me.